A growth mindset is a specific mindset that helps the human body push through things that the mind thinks you can't do. Having a growth mindset is much better than having a fixed mindset. This is because someone with a more fixed mindset will probably end up not being as successful as someone with a growth mindset. This concept is very well demonstrated in the movie Moneyball for many reasons. Many of them being all the doubt brought to the program about the way Billy Beane established and managed his team. In the movie, he basically builds a baseball team solely off of a couple of statistics instead of total statistics. This meaning picking players with higher on-base percentage, allowing science to take effect in the game of baseball. This is only one of the examples of growth mindset. There are many more displayed in the film. There are many other prime examples that come into play in this specific movie. Another being David Justice realizing that he was getting older and wasn't the player he used to be. Having more of a fixed mindset, Justice wanted to have more of a superstar role on the Athletics. Instead of this happening, he ends up not doing well in previous games. Then Billy finds him in the batting cages and gives him a pep talk about being more of a team player and helping the younger guys out on the team. After this, Justice became a key role in the lineup for getting on base and making key plays in the field. Billy exposed his fixed mindset and turned it into a growth mindset. With that being stated, anyone can have a growth mindset. I do believe that having a growth mindset is the ultimate key to being successful at any specific sport. Moneyball does a great job backing up this claim in the scene where Billy, who was labeled as a five-tool baseball player, has a flashback of when he was playing and struggled tremendously, all because of his mindset, which ended up cutting his career short. On the other hand, another scene that backs up this claim is when Scott took one for the team by learning and practicing at a position that he has never played before. With a mindset like this, Scott turned out to be very successful at his new position, playing a key role in the Oakland Athletics' success. In the movie Moneyball, Billy tells Scott, "We want you at first base." Scott replies, "But I've always played catcher." Billy then says, "It's not that hard." Scott, "Tell him, Wash." Ron Washington then follows up with, "It's incredibly hard." Although Ron Washington tells Scott that playing first base is not so easy, Scott's growth mindset allows him to develop and expand as a successful baseball player, which is crucial in being a great ball player. Another example that compares to growth mindset is imagination and truth. The saying, "the truth hurts," is a very good definition for this. Although the truth can hurt sometimes, it can only make you stronger with a growth mindset. This being because someone who can handle the truth and learn from it can only make themselves better. These people tend to have a more creative imagination as well. A creative imagination allows someone to really think outside the box. This is where Billy comes into play. He carries both a creative imagination and an education from truth. He imagines something that has never been done before in baseball history. Instead of listening to what everyone was telling him, he stuck to his gut and pursued something special. This is because of a strong creative imagination, knowing that the truth can only make you stronger, and of course, a strong growth mindset. All these traits allowed him to pursue this crazy image he had for a baseball team and make it a reality. Although the Oakland Athletics did not win the World Series, they went on the longest winning streak in Major League Baseball history. The only way that this was accomplished was because Billy changed the way people played the game of baseball. Instead of spending millions of dollars on star players, he saved the Athletics money and used average players and turned them into winners. All this was accomplished by simply changing the mindset of players and making them more growth-minded. Some people claim that it is money, chance, history, or relationships that make people who are good. Although I definitely believe there are all of these and many other variables that affect a person's direction, self-belief, which is the most contributing factor to achieving something meaningful. There isn't a lot that can benefit you without this main ingredient. You need to realize that the brain still plays against you in order to put yourself on the road to success. It doesn't care about your huge dreams, only keeping you alive is the only thing it needs. We feel thus procrastination, self-doubt, negative thoughts, fear, and etc. Not trusting in them and actually believing in yourself is the dependable path to conquer these barriers. Billy presented these in his character very well. Billy didn't care what anybody else said about his team, his management style, or his staff. All Billy cared about was winning games and changing the game of baseball. This shows that Billy had a huge self-belief and his players and staff fed off that. It made them believe that they could do things that other people doubted they couldn't do. The thing is, none of the players on the roster were considered average or even above average. In the beginning of the movie, this played a huge role in their success. They didn't win a lot of games in the beginning. However, once Billy started talking to them and reassuring them that they could do certain things, they started winning. The players fed off of Billy's mindset and set a huge example for the baseball world to see. That example being, it doesn't matter how many superstars you have on a team. If they don't have a self-belief and a winning mindset, they will be no more than just a good player on an average team. This was not the case for the Oakland Athletics because of the way Billy managed and motivated his team. Even though they didn't win a World Series, they still shocked the baseball world by proving that talent doesn't beat a good mindset. A good mindset beats talent 10 out of 10 times. Billy knew this and used it to his advantage to truly shock the baseball world. Elite athletes show unique characteristics and solid, admirable features that make them excel in their sport. Athletes require these qualities from diverse perspectives and options, such as from their peers or in school to athletics or even completing community physical fitness classes, though they are largely inherent. Great athletes display countless characteristics that together make them successful. While all of these qualities are inherent, they can also be nurtured by lessons acquired by their parents when competing in school and in activities such as physical fitness programs for young people. At IMG, which is a boarding school and a sports camp academy that helps athletes focus not just on physical development, but also on nurturing these characteristics to become good college and professional athletes. This was very well displayed in the film. When choosing players to replace the three superstars, Bill looked for those similar characteristics in those players. He did this by going and meeting them in person, and he chose players with winning attitudes. Although the players did not display them at first, he chose players that he knew he could transform into winners. By doing this, he built a strong foundation for the existing players on the team to make the ball club thrive later in the season when the time counted. A winning attitude is the first thing to good characteristics in a player and a good mindset. If you don't act like a winner, then how do you expect to be one? Billy knew this and used it to his advantage to build a team that was truly different from any other in baseball. With him picking players with winning characteristics, it made the team believe in something they doubted earlier in the season. This is why characteristics are important in a player, specifically winning characteristics. It made them mesh as a team and create a winning atmosphere around the program. This is the start of a winning program for the Athletics. Billy knew from the beginning what he was doing from the start. His goal was to change the game of baseball and turn a program that had been forgotten and make it a winning program. He proved many wrong with his so-called madness style of managing a team. Measurement is the assigning of scores to individuals such that some attribute of the individual is reflected by the scores. In a wide range of areas, including self-report, mental, sociological tests, psychological measurement can be done. Variables such as intelligence, self-esteem, and depression are social constructs that are not clearly measurable because they reflect personality tendencies or nonce behavior and internal mechanism patterns. A significant aim of scientific study is to identify psychological structures conceptually in terms that explain them accurately. There may be several different organizational meanings or ways of calculating it with every logical description of a construct. A typical technique in psychological science is the use of multiple organizational concepts or converging operations. Variables may be calculated at 4 distinct ratios that convey increasing quantities of quantitative information: nominal, ordinal, interval, and ratio. The calculation standard influences the types of data that you can use and the conclusions you can make from the knowledge. Billy used this strategy in the film. He used statistics, science, and variables to create a team that could only be seen as a team trying to tank their season so they could get a good draft pick for next season and try to rebuild. But this is hardly the case. Instead, Billy used a method including many different subjects to combine and find players that fit their team rather than trying to waste money on superstars who are just a one-man show. This method also called for a new assistant to Billy, whose name was Peter Brand. By hiring him, it made Billy realize that he was not the only one that thought the way he did. Peter was just like Billy in a sense. He understood that to build a good program and a ball club, you didn't have to spend billions of dollars to be a good program and to make the playoffs. By doing this, they made the MLB realize that to be a good team, you don't have to spend a lot of money. You just have to spend your money right. At work, we want to do well, enhance ourselves, and enjoy rich and meaningful relationships. We want to be successful. One of the most performance controversies today revolve around very simply how people think about success. People ask two main questions about success. What makes a person successful, and what is a successful person's mindset? People usually divide themselves into two groups of reasoning on these two questions about achieving personal achievement. Those with a fixed mindset claim their excellence is the product of exceptional skill, talent, or innate abilities. On the other side of the debate, people understand that even though talent is essential, determination, hard work, and stamina inevitably produce achievement. This perspective, on the other hand, is defined as the growth mindset. The key to being successful is doing what's right, not taking the easy way out as many ball clubs do that are wealthier than others. Billy goes through this in the movie when he realizes that even though he's doing something good for the game of baseball, he still can't compete with a team like the Yankees, who can buy whoever they want. This is the sad part of baseball. If all teams had a specific amount they could spend on players, the game would be evenly matched, causing fans to get more into the game. Also, there would be more variety of teams making the playoffs each year. Billy necessarily doesn't go into detail about this. However, it does come to mind with different parts of the movie. For example, when the Athletics lose in the first round of the playoffs, the announcers talk about how you can't change the game of baseball, that it's a rich man's game, and that Billy's method can only take you so far. With this being said, there is some truth to it. You can't change the game, but you can enhance it. Billy wasn't trying to change the game. He was just showing a different approach to building a program. People don't get his method because they don't see the bigger picture. He wasn't trying to change the game and trying to prove a point that people want to see a change in the game. Changing the game every now and then is not a bad thing. Changing the game is good for the community and for the sport. In conclusion, this movie shows how to have a growth mindset. Through all the struggle, hate, and glory, Billy had the same mindset, and that mindset was a key factor to his success. If you want to be successful in life, you have to give your best effort and can't let laziness stand in the way of it. There's no way around it. You just have to embrace the suck and fight through it however you can. And you can build a growth mindset by making changes, not letting the bad have influence on you, and making the best out of nothing. Moneyball showed this in a very high value. The movie showed that no matter what anybody says, having a growth mindset can make you or a team invincible. By the Athletics having the mindset they embraced, that they were not the most talented team, but instead of folding, they fought like hell to win baseball games. And if you watch the movie, it worked out very well for them. So now the question is, how can we use this in our own lives? We can do this by learning from the movie, by not letting ourselves get in the way of our own success, by surrounding ourselves with success so that we can be successful ourselves. Whether this be choosing our friends, listening to parents, or choosing our own way of life. By doing this, you can make a change from a fixed mindset to a growth mindset. The reason for this important change is to make us stronger. It made Billy and all of his players better people by making this change. Not only does this help with success, but it also helps us become better human beings. It makes our minds stronger and enables us to use our skills for good without our fixed mindset getting in the way. Not only that, but it also makes life much easier and able to manage. With this being said, the movie managed to make a dream come true for Billy Beane. He changed the game for a good reason by doing something no one else has ever done due to laziness. Instead of being lazy, he thought outside the box, thought of a solution, and strived to make a change for the program. This is a true example of a growth mindset.